Hello everyone! Today I will be going over what is typically referred to as Session 0 of a Dungeons & Dragons campaign. I will explain how to fill out a character sheet for a level 1 character. This is an example of a character sheet. I will have this linked in the description of this video. You can print this out or you can just fill out the PDF with your information. This tutorial will be very simple and follow the 2014 free or basic rules. D&D is an extensive game, and including everything would take several hours. However, if you are following along and want to include races, classes, and backgrounds from other D&D editions, feel free to do it. For supplies, you will need the D&D character sheet, some dice, a pencil, and an eraser. I have attached a PDF version of the character sheet. Feel free to use this, or if you have a different character sheet you'd like to fill out, that is also free to use. It is up to you. And then if you don't have physical D&D dice, you can use a virtual D&D dice roller. So it's like this. You can choose which dice-sided die you want. So D10. And you can add advantage. I will explain that later. And you can hit roll. And so if we rolled a D10, we'd get an 8. So stuff like that. I will also have this linked on the description. I'm going to start out by explaining the different races you can choose from your character. So I will actually include this little cheat sheet of D&D races that I created for everyone. Let's open it. Probably should have opened it before the tutorial began. Okay. So I have a short list of D&D races here. So the options I'm going to give you are dwarf, elf, halfling, and human. Not a lot of free options, but if you do want to choose one from the 5th edition or whatever, you're free to choose that. This is just for the very beginners, and I've gotten a little cheat sheet for you. So for my example character sheet over here, I'm going to choose human. So I have included this list and all of their special characteristics. So under human, you can see race human. We'll fill in race, just type human in there. So for size, they're medium, 4 to 7 feet, to small, 2 to 4 feet. That's okay. You can include that in this second page right here. You can choose their age, height, weight, skin, hair, eyes. It's whatever you want. We'll just make our human 5 feet tall. All right, and so it also, over here it says speed 30 feet. That is just how far this character can move during one round of like fighting or something like that. So for this, it'll be 30 feet, and that's fine. This is level 1. And then some other special traits over here. We have resourceful, gain heroic inspiration whenever you finish a long rest. So that is this inspiration right here, which all it does is it kind of just gives you advantage on a roll, which means that if you roll and you don't like that number, you can just roll again. So we're going to take this right here, and I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it over here in features and traits. And that's just to let you know that that you should remember this whenever you are after a long rest. You should remember that. And then there's also skillful, which is gain a proficiency in one skill of your choice. I'm also going to, this is going to come in later, but I'm also going to put it right here just so that we remember that this is a trait that we have, that this character will have. All right, so that is it for the races. So now we're going to move on to the classes of characters. So for the free version, there are quite a few, there are quite a few different classes we can choose from. And I'm going to exit that out and try to get this to fit. There we go. So we have Barbarian, Bard, Cleric, Druid, Fighter, Monk, Paladin, Ranger, Rogue, Sorcerer, Warlock, and Wizard. And as you can see in all these, I have a bunch of different traits for each of these character classes. For this example, I'm going to choose a Cleric. So we're just going to take this information that I've given you guys and kind of just go ahead and fill that out on the sheet. So as you can see, proficiency bonus is +2. We're going to go ahead and we're going to add +2 on the sheet. You can see Cleric is a class, so class up here is going to be Cleric, and then you can do comma, level 1, or you can just do Cleric 1. It's the same thing. Doesn't really matter how you want to write it in. So for the Cleric, they are a spell casting class. So they can have 3 cantrips cast per long rest, and they can have 4 prepared spells per long rest, but there's only 2 spell slots. So they can only use 2 spell slots, 2 spells for each long rest that they have. But that's just a level 1 trait that also changes as you get to higher levels. So for the 3 cantrips, we will choose from the Cleric spell right here. So yes. So here are cantrips. We can choose 3 of these. I'm going to choose, let's see. I'm going to choose Sacred Flame. So we're going to click on that and see what it says. I'm also going to just move this on over here. So that we can see a little bit more of it. Okay, so Sacred Flame, and then for the character sheet, you're going to go all the way down to the 3rd page, and then this is where we will fill in. So I'm going to do Sacred Flame. So for casting time, it is 1 action, caps lock, action, and then the range is 60 feet. We're going to go ahead and move on to this next line. It's an instant spell, or instant cantrip, so it'll happen instantly when you cast it. And then you can get your your damage dice. So you can see that the damage dice is 1d8 radiant damage. So 1d8 radiant damage. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose 2 other ones. So I'm going to choose Toll the Dead. So same thing, I'm just going to write on here, Toll the Dead. It is 1 action. And this is kind of just to let you know while you're playing what options you have if you encounter an enemy, or if you're fighting something. This would just let you know, oh, okay, well, these are my cantrips, and this is what they do, and this is the damage it does. So 1d12 necrotic damage. And then one more. We're gonna choose Mending. Mending is always good to have. Mending. Casting time is 1 minute. You have to touch the object. It's instant. And it repairs a single break or tear in an object you touch. Alright, so that is it for cantrips. So we're going to go back here and we're going to go up to level 1 spells. So we can have 4 prepared, which is what this dot means, 4 prepared spells. So we will, and then for our total slots, we only have 2. However, that can obviously be extended as your levels go up, but we are just lowly limited, so not for us. Okay, I'm going to choose Guiding Bolt, and then Inflict Wounds. Cure Wounds. Gotta get both sides of that coin. And then Command. So I will link this specific resource, this D&D 5th edition community wiki. If you go up here and you just change this to whatever class you are, it will just give you the spell list for that. I also have the spell list linked for every character class that has spells. So that will also be on there. So you don't have to worry about trying to find out where I got this information. It will be in my cheat sheet. And then typically what you would do while you're playing is you would kind of have this up, or you would know what these do. So you'd either have them up on like a laptop or a phone, and you would just quickly like, okay, I'm going to do the command spell and kind of read through it. And it does take a little bit longer, but if you do it that way instead of just having little small cheat sheets thing here, then you'll be able to kind of know exactly what kind of damage and what kind of like loopholes you can do while casting. Okay, so that is characters. So now we're going to move on to the background of the character. I've also supplied a cheat sheet for backgrounds of characters. You're welcome for giving you all of this awesome resources. So for the character backgrounds, this is again basic rules. We have an acolyte, a criminal/spy, folk hero, a noble, sage, and soldier. So for this little thing, I'm going to choose criminal/spy. So we'll go back up to the first page and we'll do background and we'll do criminal. Oop. Criminal. Okay, so for criminal/spy, we have skill proficiencies right here. So we are proficient in deception and stealth. You will find those 2 over on these skills, and you will just highlight this little dot right here that indicates that we are proficient in this specific skill. Alright, so tool proficiencies, you're proficient in gaming sets and thieves tools. You don't start out with thieves tools, but if you do end up finding them, then you are adept at those, and so you will have, I think, like advantage on lock picks and stuff like that. So we also have equipment here, so we can just kind of highlight these things and then copy them and just kind of like paste them into equipment over here just so we know what we've got. And then it also states right here that we start out with 15 GP, which is gold pieces. So next to the GP, we'll just enter 15. Very simple. Alright, now it gets a little bit more complicated. So for backgrounds, you typically have like a personality trait and stuff like that, like your idea, your bond, your flaw, stuff like that. And then for criminals, you have your criminal specialty. So we're going to open that up. Nice, I guess. D&D Beyond is very weird. It's a very helpful website, but sometimes it's weird. Sorry about that delay. Okay. Love that that happened. Nope. Okay, sorry about that delay. I got it to load. Don't know what happened. So for this, typically it depends on what you want to do. You can either just choose yourself, but out of these lists. But what I prefer is to just roll the indicated die and then just kind of get it random, and that's kind of more fun in my opinion. So we're going to see if I still have there we go. All right. So what is there we go. So let me get the dice again. And this is a D8. So I'm going to roll a D8. And I got a 7. So it looks like my criminal specialty is a pickpocket. So over here on traits, features and traits, I'm going to put criminal specialty pickpocket. So that's fun. It's a little fun thing that criminal has. All right, so with personal traits, if you go scroll on this thing, again, it's the same thing. You can read through these and choose the one that you think would most fit your character. Or if you're a little crazy, like I am, you can just make it random. So we're going to roll a d8 again. All right, I got an 8. So I blow up at the slightest insult is my personality trait. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. It's kind of as fun as you want to make it. So for idea, I got ideals. I have to roll a d6. I got a 2. So chains are meant to be broken, as are those who would forge them. So it means I'm chaotic, which is fine with me. All right, bonds. Another d6 roll. 3. Something important was taken from me, and I aim to steal it back. So kind of doing this, you get a fun little backstory that you wouldn't have really thought up yourself. Another d6 roll. Number 1. When I see something valuable, I can't think of anything but how to steal it. That's really fun. Really fun being a criminal. Okay. So, as you can probably see up here in this like kind of name space right here, there's an alignment. So in ideals, we see the chaotic right here. So that means we are chaotic, but there's different types of chaotic. You can be a chaotic good, you can be a chaotic neutral, you can be a chaotic evil. I feel like for a criminal who steals and blows up the slightest insult, I feel like they'd probably be chaotic evil. So we're going to go ahead and choose that for their alignment. So I would be chaotic, but it's kind of up to me if I want to be chaotic good. This doesn't really make sense. Chaotic neutral or chaotic evil. And that's the character alignment, so you can just kind of choose that yourself, whatever you decide to do. All right, so for our next, we're going to choose a name for the character, and I love this. So I mean, you can go through the whole just choosing a name yourself if you want to. Again, I like to be a little bit chaotic, so I'm going to do a fantasy name generator. What's great about this is you can choose your race. We are a human. And you can do a male name, female name, kind of just whatever you want to do. And if you choose male names, it'll just give you a whole bunch of randomly generated names, female names, a whole bunch of random ones. Personally, I kind of like Zyre Fist Down, so I think that's the name we're going to choose. Zyre Fist Down. And you just get a whole bunch of different funny names like that. So moving on to ability scores. This is where it starts getting a little bit more complicated. there are many different ways to do the ability scores. I'm going to teach you the way that I think is the easiest. Um, and then if you want to do some research on your own on how to do the rest of them, feel free to do that. But I'm going to teach you how to do the point by version. So you'll go ahead and select your race. We're human, so I'm going to select that. And for different editions, there's like human variants. We're very simple, very easy here, so we're not going to do that. So what this does is you have 27 points total that you add up to, and then you'll start with 8 and you just add up what you think you would want to do. So a little cheat sheet here for you guys. For specifically my human cleric, his hit points, so his health, is going to be his hit dice plus his constitution modifier. So you kind of want that to be a little bit higher. You at least want this ability modifier to be in the positive or at least net 0. So we're going to go ahead and do that until it's positive. Also, from you, the proficiency in deception and then proficiency in stealth, that is DEX, which is dexterity, and CHA, which is charisma. You kind of want those to be a little bit higher as well because you already have those as a proficiency on here anyway. So it's kind of a good shout to go ahead and do that. So we're left with strength, intelligence, and wisdom. I mean, you can kind of just mess with this and do it how you want. If you want to do all like kind of mid-level like that, and then just kind of higher up your constitution and your charisma. Alright, so look, we got 3 more points. So if we want to be intelligent and wise, yeah, there we go. So our ability score, our total score, is actually 12 for strength, 14 for dexterity, 14 for constitution, 13 for intelligence, 14 for wisdom, and 14 for charisma. So these numbers will go on this column. So strength is 12, dexterity is 14, constitution is 14, intelligence is 13, wisdom is 14, and charisma is 14. So for these little ovals below, that's actually your modifier points, which is this column right here. So for strength, it's going to be a +1. For dexterity, it's a +2. Constitution is a +2. Intelligence is a +1. Wisdom is a +2. And then charisma is a +2. So now that we have these base ability scores, we can actually start filling out the saving throws and the skills little sheets right here. If you want to go back to your cheat sheet of your cleric, it tells you your saving throw proficiencies, which is wisdom and charisma. So we're going to go ahead and special those. And then for the other ones, we'll just copy exactly what their ability modifier is. So for strength is +1, dexterity is +2, constitution is +2, intelligence is +1, wisdom is going to be this modifier plus this proficiency bonus. So it's going to be +4. And then same thing for charisma. It's going to be this ability modifier plus this proficiency bonus. So another +4. So you'll take that, and then you'll also, for the corresponding ability modifier for these skills, you'll just put that in here unless you are proficient. And I think we have a few more proficiencies to choose. So as you can see on the cleric page, you can choose two skill proficiencies from history, insight, medicine, persuasion, and religion. I think I'm going to do insight and persuasion. So that's two that I chose to be proficient in because I'm a cleric. And then also, from being a human, which we wrote over here, you get to gain a proficiency in one skill of your choice. So I'm going to go ahead and erase that since we're about to do it. And I guess for me, maybe intimidation. I feel like that would work pretty well. So now, if you want to just fill in the ability modifier for the corresponding ability scores, you can do that. So for dexterity, +2, wisdom, +2, intelligence, +1, strength, +1, deception. We're actually proficient, so it's going to be the charisma modifier plus the proficiency bonus, so +4. History is intelligence, so that is +1. I'm going to go ahead and fill these out, and I will be back when that's done. Okay, and we're back, and I've filled these out for us. Okay, so next on the character sheet is passive wisdom, which is actually going to be a base 10 and then plus whatever our perception modifier is. So perception modifier is +2. So this is going to be a 12. We're going to be moving on to let's see, what are we going to do next? I guess we can do weapons. So typically, for like a level 1 campaign, it depends on your dungeon master, which is the person who is kind of telling the story of the game, on what they want you to start out with. Typically though, you do get to start out with just a simple weapon, maybe something you're proficient in, depending on your character. But for weapons, let me pull up that list. See if it lets me open it. Awesome. So for weapons, there's simple melee weapons, there's simple ranged weapons, and then martial. Typically, they just let you choose simple melee, like simple weapons. I'm going to choose a hand axe for our guy. So I'm going to bring this back over here. And then just fill this in. So hand axe. Attack bonus if you're proficient in, let me see. If you're proficient in simple weapons, which we are, so we will add together our proficiency bonus and our strength modifier. So our attack bonus is going to be a +3. And then the damage type, as you can see right here, is 1d6 slashing. So we will put 1d6, and then you can also just write slash for slashing. So that will go away. Next on the agenda, sorry this has been so long lately. If you do not have armor, then your armor class is going to be base 10 plus your dexterity modifier. So ours is going to be 12. Your initiative is your dexterity modifier, so ours is going to be a +2. And then your hit dice is I have available on the little cheat sheet for cleric. That's druid. For cleric, it's a 1d8. So you just put right here, hit dice 1d8. And then for your hit points, which is your health, You will take your hit dice maximum and add your constitution modifier for it. So our maximum for a 1d8 is going to be an 8. And then our constitution's +2, so our hit point maximum is going to be a 10. And then current hit points can change upon like while you're fighting, or if you like drink poison or something, that will change depending on what the DM kind of wants to do to you. So good luck for that. So all in all, this is about as simple as I could have made it. There's a lot of other things that could go into this character sheet, but again, that would make this hours long, and no one wants to sit through that. But if you're playing with a dungeon master, they should be able to help you with any of these questions. But if you do have any questions, you are free to reach out to me or browse through any of the resources that I've linked with my video. I would be very pleased if you create a character and you show it to me. Comment it under the video posting or email me if you want. Send me an inbox voice on Canvas, that's fine. I would just love to see what everyone's character looks like. Thank you for watching this video, and you should check out Jonathan's tutorial if you want an in-depth look at playing D&D after this session 0. But that's all, folks. Happy adventuring.